right, I will say continue. Okay. So we've got announcements first on the agenda. And our conference, which is coming up in September, is gearing up. We've got a good number of presentations. And I think, you know, if you still have one that you'd like to share, let us know. We'll still consider it. We haven't set the schedule yet, basically, is what I'm saying. But if you watch the koha-US.org conference webpage, you can see updates from there. I don't see anybody from McKinney in this group. So they are working on, you know, confirming the hotels and stuff. We've got a conference committee meeting right after this one. So if there's other things, we can let you know. And then the demo instance group has something up and running enough that you can use that for if you're doing presentations. So even if you're pre-recording, you can use it from your site to do presentations, so you don't have to use live data and real patron information and stuff. If you are interested in using that site, Barbara is kind of the head of the chair or whatever of that group. You can contact her or anyone else on the group or anybody else on the board. You can find that. Any other announcements about the conference? Any questions that we need to find answers to? It'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, September, I think that's 21 through 24. First 2 days will be presentations and what's the word? Keynote speaker thing. And the last 2 days will be more hands-on bug stuff, actually working on the code and stuff. But if you're not a coder, do not be intimidated by that. Please, please, please join us, because your input is what's really valuable there. And just the other thing is just spending time with the Koha community, you know, getting coffee with people and sharing ideas and thoughts about, you know, we did this with Koha, or we did that with Koha, or you know, one of the presenters may have sparked some curiosity, and this, you know, it's a great opportunity to just sit down and talk with them. So definitely, if you can, stay all 4 days, because that's, it's really, really a great way to make connections with people. Okay, so fundraiser recap. Mr. John, you want to share with that?
Sure thing. We had a total of 69 registrants come in through the Koha Community Challenge. In terms of fundraising, we raised just shy of $1,700. That's in registrations to the event, as well as in individual donations that were made on top of the registrations. And while most of the money from the event has been received, we're still waiting on the final $91.50, which seems like an odd amount, but is actually the amount that is collected by Run Sign Up in the event people decide to cancel their registrations, so that they have money available for the purposes of refunds. With the event over, people can't request a refund anymore, so we expect that final amount, that final $91.50, to be direct deposited into the organization's checking account by the end of the month. So this was a great fundraiser. We raised a considerable amount of money. Thanks to Bywater Solutions for sponsoring this event and providing us with the interface that allowed us to keep track of everything so efficiently and so expeditiously.
Yes. Yeah, special thanks to Bywater for their support and help with this. And yeah, that's fantastic to raise that money.
I'd like
Any
to point
questions
out,
about?
not a question, but just a comment. My boss's parents and brother enrolled in it too.
Oh, okay.
Cost me a bottle of olives.
Oh, well.
But well done. So Layla, thank you.
Is Fred telling us he's a cheap date?
I'm married. And yes.
Okay.
Woman bought me a couple of beers at a restaurant in Ontario, and then we were engaged. I took the background picture on the way home.
All right. Okay. The mentorship, we were going to have a kind of do a little discussion on mentorship and just throw it out to see what kinds of ideas people have about how mentorship could work. The education committee is kind of trying to get this off the ground, but we are curious about how that will all, if people have been in some kind of mentorship program, similar situation, what kinds of things worked, what kinds of things didn't work, how do you connect people, coming to the conference, of course, is an excellent way to connect with people, because there'll be all levels of experience there, people that have been on Koha for 10, 12, 15 years, and people that may still just be migrating at some point. So again, I encourage you to attend the conference. But any thoughts, any ideas? We thought we'd just throw this out here and see if, we've got a brain trust here that we can.
I know at the education committee, was working on some sort of we had talked about like some sort of onboarding email that could go out, which I think is still a good idea. It's just something to kind of introduce people to the organization and tell them what they're gaining from joining as a member.
Okay.
I guess are there people here today that are that wanted a mentor when they registered but haven't gotten anything and would have ideas on how we could give you something? That's something I'm interested in. I know in the past we've just kind of tried to connect people, connect the dots. We haven't done any of that this year as far as I know. So maybe that's where we start.
I need a mentor. I need a mental break.
Yeah.
Now, when we conceived of the idea of mentorship, the idea was to connect two parties together, and I don't, at least from my perspective, I've never seen that fully implemented. Even the time that I was on the board, I think it's something that we need to step up and follow through better on. I think it would be great, if the board could or a committee could go through that list of mentors and mentee, people that want to be mentored, and make that connection, that introduction, and schedule a time for them to talk to each other one-on-one, video chat or something, and then follow up and make sure that that connection was made. I think the idea of that is, we get, when we jump into the Koha community, we're thrust into this pool of people, and it's a good pool of people, but it's always helped me having that one person that I know I could go to and bounce ideas off of, or ask about workflows and stuff, and know that I'm not pestering them. And I think that is the key part of the mentorship, is that it's saying, hey, you're welcome to pester this person. This person has offered to open their door to you and answer questions as time allows, but you're not pestering this person, and they're welcoming your questions. And I think that those are the key things that need to be stressed and worked on with this program.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I think I'm your mentor.
You are, George. Now it's official.
Somebody who signed up to be a mentor, but never had a mentor myself in this community. One of the problems I had was figuring out where the line was to talk to that other person. How often did they want me to contact them? As a mentor, usually a mentor kind of initiates a lot of that communication. Outside of, in a general mentor-mentee, there's a lot of leadership going on there. And I think that framework didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be good to set some guidelines, like if you're a mentor, reach out to that person, once a month or once every couple months, for the first year, and make sure that things are going smoothly. I know that if you are like a partner with Bywater has been a good role model in that their support staff have been reaching out. I know with me, they reach out with me month by month and check in to see how things are going on support tickets. That's a good model. That's the kind of thing that I would like to see the mentors do with the people that they're helping.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. So we can.
And Michael put some a question in the chat, some ideas in the chat. Maybe a good starting point would be to have like a pool of mentors that we could just have, maybe a group, like you could email mentors at koha-US.org, and then maybe let the mentees also find their own connections, if it have different angles.
Yeah,
that way.
that is a great idea.
I think solid communication and regular check-ins with the mentors from the board or somebody on the board would be a good idea, just to say, hey, these are some ideas, these are some things that you can do with the person that you're mentoring, just to help remind them that that person's out there and remind them of some things that they can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that could be as simple as an email, with reminders of what's coming up. Hey, the conference is coming up. Encourage the new people to come to the conference to make connections, or the new release has just come out. These are some things that you might want to talk over with them, or whatever.
Maybe that would be a good thing for the members at large to take over.
There you go.
I didn't do much of anything when I was a member at large. I did it well, but
yeah. Yes, you did, Fred. You were excellent.
And now that you're not, you've just come up with a job for Elaine, essentially.
Yeah, sorry
Since we
about
don't
that,
have a
Elaine.
supported member at large right now.
I think that's an excellent idea, though. I think the members at large need something that they can feel like they can contribute to more than just being on the board. I know that in the past we haven't taken advantage of the members at large much, but that is an excellent role.
Yeah, is there not a supported, Bob is the supported member at large, yes?
Yes, I think he is. I had forgotten that. Sorry. So congratulations, Elaine. You just got your job cut in half.
There you go.
Actually, Elaine and I have been sort of, but not quite mentoring people. So someone who reads info at koha-US, I think that they've been on list. The people are going to Ukraine to do cataloging.
If I remember correctly, info goes to the president and the vice president.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I'm looking right now in the Google admin.
Okay. So I think kind of a wrap up is we've got a couple ideas that, you know, the education committee and the board can take. Maybe making the members at large kind of a mentor for the mentors, and then encouraging encouraging the mentors to contact the mentees on a regular basis, you know, once a month or whatever, for, you know, at least for the first year that they're on, or that they've requested the mentorship, and letting them know about events in the community, anything, you know, answering questions, making connections, you know, like if they've got as a mentor, you don't have to have all the answers, but you do just have to have the connections to know where to go to ask how to get the information. And we're kind of library types here, so we should all be really good at that. Is that kind of what we're hearing, what I'm hearing? We can talk about this at the next board meeting, and education committee can talk about that too. If I get my schedule right, I will actually come to the education committee meeting. But, I try. Okay. Any other comments that anyone has about mentorship? Okay. I'm going to move on to committee reports. So I see Ed is here now. Yay. So the first committee is the conference committee. So we have, last year we didn't have an in-person conference, but we had voted to go to McKinney. So this year the conference will be in McKinney. It will be September 21 through 24. I'm just going to repeat this again. Come for the whole thing. The first 2 days will be kind of presentations, a guest keynote speaker, that kind of thing. The last 2 days will be more workshop kinds of activities, and everybody will have something to participate in there. And, you know, your opinions about how certain bugs should be handled. We can update Bugzilla. We can do some sign-offs, you know, all kinds of good activities, and just kind of get more familiar with the whole process of upgrades and things like that. We closed the, okay, thanks, George. We closed the window for submitting presentations. We haven't created the schedule yet. So if you do have something, you get it to us in the next couple days, we can still fit it into, you know, work when we sit down to do the schedule. But we do have some, you know, a nice number of presentations and a nice variety too. And if you've never presented at koha-US, I would still encourage you to do that, because we like new faces. We get sick of the same old people all the time. So we'll just get some new blood up there. We would love that. Let's see. Okay, so Ed, housing or hotels and stuff, you got that all squared away. The most important thing I think to note was that Friday night, the hotel will probably be booked because of Oktoberfest.
Potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
The McKinney Oktoberfest festival starts Friday, so there's a lot of activity. Plus, that hotel tends to get booked on weekends for weddings and things like that. So it's only got like 50 rooms in the whole hotel. So we're going to control most of it. We've got a 30-room block for that hotel. Plus, there's a Sheraton not too far away. It's not within walking distance of downtown, but we can work out some shuttle stuff. We'll work out those details as needed.
Okay. Okay. So I know some cities and things like that, you need to have the schedule, the agenda for the conference before they'll approve the travel stuff. So we will try and get the schedule done as soon as we can. We'll talk about that at the conference committee meeting right after this. Yeah. Any questions that anybody has about conference? Fresh perspectives is our theme. Okay.
When will there be updated merch on the Threadless shop?
Where's Jason? Soon, I think.
He conveniently disappeared right before then.
Ah. Okay, because I thought we were going to put that up soon.
In fact, the answer is it's live in the shop now. I just was hoping Jason would answer. I think it went live after our last conference committee meeting.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
At the bottom of the conference page, so.
Yeah, so get your merch, get your merch.
And what we learned with Pueblo is that sometimes it takes longer than you think it's going to. So you might want to make sure you order by the end of August if you want to wear your merch to the conference.
Okay.
Ed, what is parking like in downtown McKinney? Is there free parking? Is it paid parking?
It is. This downtown area has lots of free parking lots. They've even got one parking garage, potentially two. But yeah, they're really trying to get people to come downtown, and that's one of the ways they're doing it. It's all free parking, and they even have one of those little battery operated go-kart things that shuttle people around from the parking lots to the square. That is free.
So Ed, I'm sorry, I missed this part. You were talking about hotels. You said you have a block of rooms
at the Grand. What is it? McKinney Grand Hotel, McKinney Hotel Grand, whatever. Those three words in some appropriate order.
I'm not seeing it on the conference page. Can that be added?
Yes.
Okay.
We were just waiting till we had, because of the delay with changing years, we wanted to make sure all the dates worked out with them before we publicize that. But yes, it is all set. They've got a variety of rooms. We even have rooms going a little before that if people wanted to come earlier. But so we've got those rooms. There's also a Sheraton nearby that we're still working out a conference rate for.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
There are also Airbnbs in the area, although the city doesn't like me saying that.
Is parking available at the hotel?
Yes, parking is available at the
Okay.
hotel and parking is available downtown.
Can you drive to the airport and personally pick me up?
Depends on when you come in.
It's okay, I'm driving, so.
Personally, I don't want to see the Dallas airport for a long time. I've just spent 2 days there. So.
Is it worse than the Detroit airport?
I don't know.
No.
American and I are not friends right now. American Airlines and I are not friends.
Yeah, I've got a grudge against United, but Detroit was like the worst airport I've ever been in.
Oh.
I will say
Hey,
this.
watch it.
I will say this about DFW's airport. It's really not bad if you're flying in and flying out.
Yes.
If you have to leave the airport, then it's a problem.
Yep. And I was supposed to fly in and fly out, and it didn't work that way.
So you had to leave the airport.
I had to leave the airport twice on the way
I'm
in
so sorry.
and on the way out.
Yeah, an article in the Washington Post said that Dulles Airport, which is the third airport around here, it's about 10% of the TSA staff they need. A lot of other places are pretty low. Does the train go from DC to McKinney?
Maybe. It doesn't go to McKinney, but it'll get you into the DFW area.
Mm-hmm.
I've got friends that from Austin will take a train from Austin up to Dallas. And there are a couple of trains that go out of the Dallas area.
Probably via Chicago for me.
There's one from Dallas to Chicago. Or it's actually Fort Worth, I think.
All right. Any other questions about the conference? Okay. Then we'll move on to Development Committee. Ms. Barbara.
So we had a meeting last month, which I hardly remember, but we discussed the developments that we're looking at. One is a hold slip that can be printed, and one is something else.
About the note. Yeah, the note.
Oh, so the patron could get rid of the notes that are in the OPAC on their account. And we have a cost for development on one of them from Bywater, and then we also have a new developer that we're working with. It's a company called Auto Parallel Technologies, I think. And we gave that gentleman some bugs to look at, and he came back with the work that they could do and a cost proposal. And then the board, which I missed the board meeting, but the board, I think, took a vote on a not to exceed $2,500 in support of a development. Our next meeting is this Friday, so we'll be getting deeper into the next steps. And I would hope maybe putting out, a vote so that members could vote on whether they want to support one or the other or nothing. That's about where we are.
Okay. Questions? Okay. Education, Heather.
Our last meeting pretty much praised Fred for a video he's working on, and it looks really great about installing Koha from the command line. And the Every Other Thursday series is going wonderfully, and a lot of our ideas that we were coming up with and working on, we were encouraging people to turn into conference presentations. So hopefully that happened.
Yeah, we had a burst of submissions there, so maybe.
Let's see, and we'll be meeting again on June 16th. So join us if you're interested, please.
June 16, really?
Yeah. Or at least that's what I have.
In the morning?
In the morning, yes. 8:30 Pacific time. I believe that's 10:30 Central.
That is exactly when we're having our groundbreaking.
Well, I hope that goes well. It sounds nice.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be giving a presentation to new residents, but basically you're not going to learn anything from me today. This is your first week as a resident in a new hospital, maybe a new country. There's a library. Bye.
I do usually take a few very general notes, so I'm happy to send those to anyone who's interested too.
Okay. Yeah. I'm interested. Questions for the Education Committee? Okay. Finance.
We're doing well. We continue to do well. Membership, members in good standing as of the end of last month, 43 for the current membership year. The final bank members for April, no real surprises there. One of our annual expenses, the payment to the state of Kansas for the filing of our nonprofit annual report, hit. In terms of May, you look at May's numbers and you think, wow, this is fantastic. Look at all this money. Keep in mind the following two things. 1,200 of that is from our ALA exhibit refund, which goes back into the discretionary coffer and has effectively been earmarked for possible use at next year's ALA annual in Washington, D.C. And the remainder of that is income from the event. Run Sign Up deposits money into our account weekly. 1 deposit was received in April, 3 in May, and that really constitutes the rest of the money that came in for revenue during the month of May. So we continue to do well in that regard. With the conference starting to pick up and registration will be opening soon and all of that good stuff, there will be significantly more activity in the third quarter of the year. In other news, like I said, we did receive finally our ALA exhibit hall refund. I was getting worried I was going to have to chase down people. Fortunately, that did not happen, so that is all set. We've already talked about the Koha Community Challenge and how koha-US has benefited from that. And we did, of course, receive our quarterly distribution from Amazon Smile, $76.71, covering the first quarter of the calendar year, $161.82 year to date, and a lifetime of just shy of $1,600. Not much else to report from the Finance Committee, but I welcome any questions anybody might have at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then fundraising, we sort of covered that with the fundraiser recap. We still don't have somebody to kind of chair that. So if that's a passion of yours, let us know and we can get you in that role quickly. So that is the major part of the agenda. This is open discussion time. So if you have bugs or issues or anything else that you want to discuss with the group, now is your opportunity.
I put in a bug since the last meeting, bug 28335. Just put a link in the chat where making patron attributes required can cause issues in multi-branch systems. because you can set patron attributes to only show for certain libraries. Like if only one library wants to show, needs a certain patron attribute because maybe it's related to like their newsletter or something. But the way that you make them required, it's based on like the order it's displayed, not the code. So like on one library's page, the first attribute might be different. And so if that's something that you deal with, you might be interested in this bug. Especially because you can't change, for good reason, you can't change the codes, which is what it sorts by. So you can't like force the sort to be correct that way if you add patron attributes later. That, I mean, when you're adding new patron attributes, but like we weren't planning on making attributes required when we started this. And so we did not do them in such a way that would work like that. And we'd have to like rebuild the patron attributes, which we could do, but it seems like it would be nice if it was easier for multi-branch libraries. And I have a sort of related bug also, or there is a related bug about how on the OPAC side, it's not stable it's not a stable ID, so you can't use jQuery to affect it. Like we have a field that we use so that we pass to Canopy so that only our district has access to our Canopy. And we wanted to do something kind of similar with some jQuery that Lucas helped us set up that sets the username and password because we have it based on other information. And so we have some jQuery like that, and we wanted to do a similar thing with our home library field, and we have like a secondary attribute that we pass because that's how we had to set it up with Canopy, that should match the home library or the address, the home address really. And so I was going to do a similar thing, but the attribute, it like generates a whole new label every time. So I'm trying to find that one. Oh yeah, extended patron attributes don't have a stable ID on the OPAC, and that's 26206. So.
So the problem you're having in the OPAC relates to patron self-registration then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you're editing, like if where they can request changes, also there if it's an editable field on the OPAC.
So only if that Canopy attribute is visible to the patrons, if only if they have the ability to edit it. Okay.
Which we don't have it turned on because we were just going to have it on and like hide it with jQuery and set it based on the address, but
okay.
Like on the address drop down. But
Canopy sucks as far as their SIP connection goes. I've got like 5 libraries using Canopy and 2 more that want to start. And each one of them, it's a whole process. It's a whole bunch of extra work to get Canopy worked out with them. So
yeah, I thought it was interesting that they couldn't pull the patron's home library, but they could pull a patron extended attribute, which I think we had to have Bywater help us with setting it up properly.
Yeah, the extended attribute has to be configured in the SIP configuration to go for that specific SIP login.
Yeah.
It's a Canopy problem, not a Koha problem, really.
And those attributes, it sure would be nice. Yeah, I know the problem that you talk about the ID changing it. There's no stable way of referring to them, and it sure be nice if they just based the ID off the code. It seems like it would be a simple enough fix.
Yeah, and if we did it on both the patron and staff side, then you could also put it into the required fields based on the attribute, as long as it, properly didn't try to make it required. If it for libraries, then it wasn't available to.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what my bugs are right now.
Any other bugs, Ed?
Yeah, I'm sure Ed will take care of that then.
Yeah. See what happens when Windows restarts your computer.
Yeah.
Hey, every now and then, the hospital does a power test. My computer goes off. Yesterday, it took 15 minutes to log in. So, Elaine, do you want to say anything about the people going to Ukraine? You think we answered their questions?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard from them lately, so I'm not sure what they're up to. But they were looking at trying to install Koha onto a laptop so that they could catalog the English language collection at a seminary in the Ukraine. So we've offered them various ideas, and I'm not sure what they've decided to do.
Yeah, I think the last I heard, it turns out that someone's already installed Koha on a server. And now they are just going to do the English language cataloging. But I'm trying to, I keep saying, you really don't need Linux on a computer to do cataloging. The regular Windows interface will do fine.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the people at the seminary know what they're doing and they can help these guys get organized.
Yeah. It sounds like Koha can handle Roman and Cyrillic in the same system.
Well, I hope so. We've had trouble with Irish, but that's another problem.
Everyone has trouble with Irish.
So trying to find the bug and I can't find it, but I just wanted to throw this out there. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but there was a bug where merging patrons, and Lisette brought this to mind, merging patrons that have, when you have patron attributes, if you have attributes set to not duplicate, merging patrons duplicates them and can cause some issues if you have specific needs for those attributes. And so there's a bug out there that fixes it, but its solution to fix that was to, if they have attributes that are set to not duplicate, then don't merge the patrons, and that's it. It just doesn't merge the patrons. So if your library that uses non-duplicating attributes, then merging patrons is useless. So that's the fix for that problem. And then I think they may have another bug out there to address that at some point, to say, hey, you've got these patrons that have this issue with the attributes. What do you want to do? Which one do you want to keep? Hopefully that that'll get solved sooner than later. But I was disappointed that they chose to just disable it for merging the patrons if they have those attributes and your library heavily uses attributes. and they can't duplicate. So I can't find the bug. If I figure it out, I'll throw it out on the list. But yeah.
I threw one in chat there, Christopher. Is that the one?
Let me see. Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah, looks like it. Still got a status of new. So they haven't resolved it yet.
So it linked to bug 28217. That's where they actually did the fix. And then Andrew linked to 21648 for oh wait, no. Is that the same one? No. I might have got those backwards.
No, yeah. So the one that it looks like the one that you posted, Jason, is the response to the other bug where they did, stop it in its tracks from merging. So yeah, I'm hoping to see some traction on that, because the fix makes that feature pretty useless to libraries that have non-duplicating attributes. So feedback is always good.
Anybody else have comments, questions, issues?
I guess I opened this one since last time.
Okay.
I'll just throw it out there. We're finding that we're using club holds. So we're using clubs to place club holds. And we're finding that sometimes if a patron wants to suspend their holds, like they're going on vacation, the only way to prevent them from getting the club hold is to take them out of the club temporarily and then put them back in after they've come back from vacation. So I put out a ticket to add the ability to just suspend enrollments rather than fully unenrolled patrons. I think that would be a good solution to that problem, because I have libraries now that are like having to keep track of what clubs they took the patrons out of and then put them back in when they're back. So if we could just pause it so it's still on their account but can be unpaused at a later time, I think that would be a good enhancement.
It would be great to have it work similar to holds.
Yeah.
Where you can pause it indefinitely, or you can pause it to a certain date. That way somebody doesn't get paused and we don't know when to unpause it.
Yeah, and I think I put that in. Yeah, bonus points if it can behave like a hold suspension. So I put that on there.
One step further would be, a note that you could jot down about it, because if you pause it indefinitely, some people might want to know why and what they're supposed to do with that. So.
Well, it'd be nice if you could pause them and put a date in there like you can with pausing a hold. Then you wouldn't need a note. You could just turn it off temporarily. And I guess I'm looking at the bug right now. I guess Jason actually proposed that in the bug. So
I like to use bugs as wish lists. So, put it all out there. Why not?
Yeah, I do too. And occasionally I'll get somebody that comes back with, hey, throw some money at us. It's like, It's just a suggestion. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to touch it.
I guess I have another question that's kind of not, maybe it's a bug. Is there anything that controls sorting of the checkouts table besides jQuery? Like, there aren't any sysprefs or anything or settings that you can change that affect the sorting, right? Because I have this ongoing issue where instead of when you're checking somebody out, instead of it sorting the most recent one to the top, it sorts the most recent one to the bottom of today's checkouts, which apparently is causing some mutinous behavior. And I took out my jQuery and all that, and I don't think it's jQuery. I'll probably just open a ticket with Bywater to have them look at it. But I just wondered if there was some setting I had off or something messing that up.
No, it would be fantastic if there were controls to control sorting.
Yeah, that could be added to the column configuration tool. Also,
Yeah.
have a default sort behavior. Great idea.
It's a wish list item for me, but I would like the column configuration table to be able to change the order of the columns from left to right. If you could say this one's over here, this one's over here, this one's over here, I think that'd be an awesome enhancement. But I'm not willing to. There are more important things I'm interested in before that, but it'd be cool.
But you could put it in the bug list, and if it gets done, it gets done.
Yeah, that's true.
Jason, did you say the previous issues default sort order?
No, the problem, it's when we're sorting the most recent checkouts. So while they're scanning a stack of books, they want the most recent one they scan to the top. And for some reason it's flipped for us. When I test on my test server, it's not. So I don't know. There's something funky going on there.
There's a system preference called previous issues default sort order. And that lets you sort previous checkouts on the circulation page from either earliest to latest or latest to earliest for the due date.
Okay, I'll take a look at that and see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
So I was actually going to throw out a bug, and it seems it's been around for a while. It's not really a bug, but it's an enhancement. And it was bug 7972. And Barbara put me onto it. It's a GUI for our cron jobs. And honestly, I think that would be a brilliant idea. I commented in there saying that we don't really need the ability to schedule. It's just to see the status of them. If they failed, when they're going, when they're, when they're going to go next, etc. So you guys can comment on it. Maybe we can get some movement on it, huh?
Yeah, that's one I commented on, added my +1 at the end of last year. It's a great idea. Yeah, it's been there since 2012, but it's picking up. It picked up a little bit of steam, and then it's just kind of petering along there. But I would love that too. It would be nice to be able to see them, if not, have a little bit more control over them.
That instead of using the command line, I'm in favor of anything that gets away from the command line.
I was just thinking just a status bar right now, and then command, scheduling and all the other, fun stuff later, just to get the ball rolling on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a great one. I know there's times when I think, how did we set that cron job up? Just to be able to double check and see what was going on.
Good, also good for those of us who fiddle with cron jobs, maybe once every 6 months to a year.
Mm-hmm.
Smaller libraries.
Okay.
I just posted 2 links in the chat. As always, I've been looking at all the bugs and adding Bugzilla at koha-US to all the bugs we talked about today. And so there's a link, there's 2 links there if you want to reference any of these. Those are all the bugs that we've talked about at most of the meetings we've had. So.
Okay.
Just to follow up on my issue, thank you, Jesse. There's also a today's issue default sort order, and that's the one that was set wrong for me. So, oops.
All right. And our work here is done. We've solved someone's problem. Hey. And actually, looks like we're coming up on the hour for this meeting. So if no one has any other questions or comments, we can let everyone go that isn't going to be staying for the conference committee meeting. Everyone have a great week and a month, and we'll see you all again. I'm sure some of you will see before next month.
See you next time, folks. Thanks.
Yep.
See you later.